The One Piece, everybody! The One Piece is real! We finally know what it is. That's right, The One Piece. It's a brand new anime adaptation. Turns out that was the treasure that was on Laugh Tale the entire time. No, seriously though, can you imagine Luffy and everybody find the One Piece, they walk into the treasure room or something, and then it's just like, the chapter ends and there's just a note by Oda that's like, there's going to be a new anime. That's it. That was the One Piece. That's what it was. It leaked a little earlier, but, you know, that's what it was. Honestly, I'm really excited for this. I really am. They should have called it Two Piece. Just for the memes, they should have called it. Hey, that way people wouldn't confuse it. I mean, you're going One Piece and then The One Piece. You know, I mean, like, there's movies that have done that before, you know, like Final Destination and then The Final Destination. I think they did that with the Fast and Furious movies, too. Like, I think the first one was called The Fast and the Furious, and then there was one of them, like the seventh one or something, that was just Fast and Furious, you know? So, hey, if you went One Piece with the Toei version and then Two Piece with the Wit Studio version, it'd all be good. All right. Now, jokes aside, we got some images for One Piece Day. One Piece Day was like August 10th and the 11th, you know, time zones and whatnot this year, you know, celebrating the 27th anniversary of One Piece. The actual anniversary of the manga is in July, but there was this cool event, and we got some information from Wit Studio about the new adaptation. We got some really cool images, like promotional art for the series, and I'm just going to go through these with you guys here. A lot of other people have already discussed this, so I'm a little bit late here, as it always is with me, but it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. You know, I saw the director and the assistant director that was released. The director is going to be Masashi Koizuka, who was the anime director for the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, which very solid stuff. If I had to pick my personal favorite, I would probably say season 3 of Attack on Titan is my favorite in terms of animation-wise and everything like that, and so he was involved in that, so that's cool. And the assistant director is Hideaki Abe, who did work on Jujutsu Kaisen. So, I mean, we have Attack on Titan dude and Jujutsu Kaisen guy, and they're going to be working on this new anime of One Piece. I think we're in good hands with that. I think we're going to be okay with that. From what I hear, this Jujutsu Kaisen thing is, like, really popular. I should probably get into it. I've read 800 chapters of Kingdom. I read all of Dan Dadan in like 2 days. Thank you, Spooky. So I should probably finally sit down and read all of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, I'm really running out of like other series to like procrastinate on. It's like, I'll read 800 chapters of Kingdom, then I'll get to Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, let's just go through some of these images and I will discuss them as we go. This is a great one. I saw this shared around a lot. This is in the restaurant called Meshi. Yeah, remember the name? It's called Meshi. This is in Syrup Village. This is where Usopp, Luffy, and everybody are having their little introductory lunch. You know, Usopp's a cool guy. He took them all out for lunch, and so they could talk about stuff, right? I believe this is also the area where, like, Usopp finds out that Luffy knows his dad, like Usopp and everything like that, and just, you know, tell him about the village and everything like that, so that's looking pretty good. One of the main reasons I saw why they're doing this, by the way, and by the way, the overall, like, reception to this, I mean, I've seen some people that are like, you know, we don't need another anime adaptation. Why are they doing this? But that, honestly, the vast majority of people have been saying that this is a good thing. And how cool is it, by the way, that the original anime isn't even done yet, and then we have this other one? And I say cool because, you know, the anime is good, but there's a lot of situations where, especially like in the Dressrosa arc, filler can really pile up and everything. And there was also concerns about like, hey, you know, the early One Piece anime, it's in that 4:3 aspect ratio, because remember it started in 1999, and it would be cool to have an updated version. I mean, yeah, they have the OVAs, but the OVAs are very hit and miss, like, you know, East Blue, for example. So starting all over while the actual, like, the original anime is still going, I think it's something that only One Piece could work with, you know what I mean? I don't see any other anime doing that except for One Piece, to start another adaptation while the original is still going, right? But, you know, in this this case, it's perfectly fine here. So, like, people that have never watched One Piece before, that might be put off a little bit because maybe the animation's a little outdated. Now, obviously, I grew up in the 90s, so that kind of animation I actually prefer. You know, it's the same thing why I like the earlier seasons of The Simpsons rather than everything is, like, you know, cell shaded digitally now. I like the old, you know, hand shaded kind of stuff. But I understand also, like, getting into One Piece, it'd be cool if the whole thing was a uniform aspect ratio and the animation was consistent all the way through. Like, I definitely get that. And this is what this Wit Studio adaptation is going to give us. So next up, we have just a cool looking overview shot of Shellstown as Luffy and Kobe arrive here. They're walking through the market, and this is the area where they learn about how they mention Zoro, and everybody kind of freaks out over Zoro, but then they also mention Morgan, and everybody freaks out over Morgan, like, oh, he's also a bad guy. So this is a cool scene here. I always remember a scene in the anime, I don't know why, but I always remember this one scene in this marketplace where Luffy is just walking through the market, and he buys food, and he just like flips a coin over to the market guy and he takes the money. I don't know why I find that funny. It's just like, obviously, I think it may be because I'm so used to Luffy just grabbing food and eating it, you know? It's just like here it actually had like, oh, I will pay for this. Here you go, shopkeep. And he's like, thank you, son. Here's some meat. And Luffy grabs it and he's walking through town eating his mutton or whatever. And I'm like, all right, good for you, Luffy. Good for you. Let's see. We have, oh, this beautiful shot here of Sanji and Gin at the Baratier as he gives him the delicious fried rice. By the way, I do have the One Piece cookbook, the Sanji cookbook. Haven't made anything out of it yet, but the fried rice is in there. And I am a guy that does enjoy his fried rice. So, you know, I would definitely enjoy this meal, definitely here. I loved the Baratier arc the best out of all of East Blue, and this was when I was watching it as the 4Kids dub growing up, because that's what I was first introduced to into One Piece. I didn't go back and watch... Well, the way that Funimation did it was it took years for them to go back and actually redo East Blue, because it was that whole thing where, like, after Alabasta, Funimation took over with Jaya, and then it got taken off Cartoon Network for a while, and then Funimation went back and redubbed everything from episode 1, so it was years and years later that I saw that, but Baratier still is my favorite arc in the East. I love Arlong Park too. It's really good, but Baratier, that's it for me. This is a great shot. Now, what I'm exciting about this scene is, so early on in the One Piece anime, there were characters that might have showed up as like background characters that at the time we didn't know they were going to be relevant. So the anime might not have put a lot of detail into them. And then later on, you find out they're extremely relevant. Case in point, this scene right here is where we first get introduced to Rayleigh. Rayleigh is in the manga in like chapter 19, yelling at Shanks and Buggy about their argument about the, you know, which is colder, the North Pole or the South Pole. By the way, the South Pole is colder. Well, actually, I don't know, actually, because like in the One Piece world, the North Pole and South Pole might not be the same as in our world, so the North Pole might be colder in the One Piece world. Who knows, right? Yeah. But at any rate, we see Rayleigh there. And in the anime, we see him too, but he doesn't really look exactly like Rayleigh. So now, because, you know, here we are, we know what Rayleigh looks like, the anime adaptation can actually include Rayleigh as he's supposed to look, with like, because I think in the anime, in the original, he has black hair, and he's actually used to be blonde. So like we'll see Rayleigh in this shot, and he'll actually, like, it'll have so much more like weight to that moment, because we'll have a scene where Rayleigh's yelling at Shanks and Buggy, be like, oh my god, there's Rayleigh, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, an episode, like, well, I don't know what episode it'll be in this, like episode 5 or something, like whenever this will be, but yeah. This is an epic. This is probably my favorite one of Zoro slicing up Buggy. Man, that looks so cool. You know, just that awesome shot there. I mean, like, the animation quality also is going to get a major boost. Because keep in mind, when the One Piece anime, the Toei anime started, One Piece was not a global sensation yet. It was popular. It was popular enough to get an anime, sure, but it wasn't something that everybody was going crazy for yet, okay? I mean, look at the first 3 One Piece movies. They aired as, like, 50-minute movies, you know, 50-minute, like, short films, I guess, at, like, these small festivals and everything like that. So there was definitely a fan base there, but it was in the early days of One Piece. No one knew what this was going to balloon into yet. Oda originally said famously that, like, you know, 5 years, that's about how how long it's going to be. But now that we're getting the new anime, we're going to have everything animated at a much higher quality. If we're aiming at like Attack on Titan Season 3 or Jujutsu Kaisen like quality kind of stuff, like this is going to be phenomenal to see Zoro slice and Buggy up like this, right? We have Zoro and Kuina and their epic promise here, the little flashback there with Zoro and Kuina. Now, this is where we get to an issue. Not an issue. It's not an issue at all, but it is a question. So, like, how far do you go with what I just said about, like, you know, hey, we know stuff that's going to happen in the future of the manga, so, like, Rayleigh's design will be on point. Well, we know some more stuff now about Zoro's heritage. We know about Kozaburo. We know about a little bit more about Koshiro. We know about the origin of Shimosuke Village. So in Zoro's flashback, when we see Kuina and Zoro and everybody, how do you handle this? Do you just stick to the manga and don't deviate from that? Or do you be a little, like, I don't know, maybe in the background at Shimosuke Village, you'll see like Kozaburo walking around in the background as an old dude or something? Maybe? Or is that going too far? Is that like, hey, we don't need to do that? But not to say that we have to focus on it specifically, but we now know a little bit more about the village than we did when the anime first aired. So you could do that. You could throw, like, you know, in the background, if you squint, you could see like, oh, hey, look, there's Kozaburo up there on the cliff fishing. That's so cool they put that in there, you know? Like, you know, or maybe you just want to stick. No, none of that. We are sticking to the manga material and not deviating from that in the slightest. It's like, all right, I can understand both points there. I can understand both points. Very good. This is going to be fun. I love the light streaming down through the tree in this shot. Like the shading of this looks way better than in the original. Oh, something that they definitely kept, I just realized. So, in the manga, Kaya's bedroom is actually on the first floor. So, you know how, like, in the anime, Usopp climbs up on that tree and he's sitting on the branch and he's telling Kaya stories? That's a completely anime-only thing. In the manga, her bedroom window is right there on the first floor and Usopp doesn't have to climb the tree. He just sits next to the tree and tells her stories. So if you didn't know that, now you do. So this is something definitely that they kept from the original anime, not something from the manga. But I like this change because I like it. I like the idea that Usopp climbs up this tree and sits on this branch and tells Kaya, who's like bedridden that can't leave, epic adventures of like his many travels over the world, right? I like that. So it's a cool thing they kept. There's just an image of Nami navigating. You know, Nami, she's an LADY. She can navigate the sky. You know, like that. Yeah, she can indeed do that. She can do that. Oh, by the way, okay, here, you know what? Just, I will have a question here with this image. This is more of just a, thing I'm throwing out there. How much damage do you think Zoro could do with 3 oars? 3 oars style. Could Zoro beat oars with 3 oars? Okay. Current Zoro, as of Egghead, you take away his swords and you give him 3 oars. Who is the most powerful One Piece villain he could defeat with just those 3 oars? He's definitely, I don't think, beaten King again with just oars, but he's definitely kicking the shit out of Arlong, so there's got to be a middle ground here. You know what I mean? Could Zoro with 3 oars defeat pre-time skip Lucci? Could Zoro with 3 oars defeat current Lucci? These are the questions that I'm asking. All right, yeah. This is a cool shot of Zoro on the cross. Something else taken away from us in the 4Kids dub. Zoro's just on the T in the 4Kids version. This is a cool shot here, just Luffy and Nami running away. And, oh, yeah, there's Cho-Cho in the background. There's Shushu in the background. That's, holding off the buggy crew as Luffy and Nami are running through this alleyway. That's really cool. I actually don't remember this shot. This might be something added, or maybe it's just something for promotional material. Did this happen? Did this happen in the manga? This is a question I genuinely don't remember. I don't remember Shushu holding off pirates as Luffy and Nami were running away. Maybe that did happen. I don't recall. And this is just a cool shot of Luffy just going to punch us. No, Luffy, please don't punch me. Pfft, ow. Okay. Here's another question. So I don't think it's set in stone yet exactly how the voice actor situation is going to work. and this is contentious, because do you want to have the original voice actors back for this? Or, because it's a brand new adaptation, bring in new voice actors? Now, this is a tough choice because we have gotten used to the Straw Hats' voices over the course of a 25-year-long anime at this point. Luffy's voice is very firmly Mayumi Tanaka, okay, right? So, obviously, it's like, no, we can't have other voices. I get that, but if you're doing a new anime adaptation, I'm thinking, like, go for it. You know what I mean? And I know this might seem as, like, scary, like, new soundtracks, new voice actors. And, you know, a lot of people will say, like, well, you know, Mayumi Tanaka is Luffy's voice. There cannot be there's not a single other human being on the planet that could possibly voice Luffy. I will admit that no matter who voices Luffy, if it's somebody other than Mayumi, if it's anybody else in the first episode of this anime, people are going to complain. People are immediately going to be like, that's not Luffy's voice, you know, no matter what, all right? I'm prepared for that, okay? But see if you get used to it. I would say that. Same thing with if they're replacing everybody. Not replacing, because their voices will still be in the original Toei anime. But, you know, if they're doing new voice actors for this, then just give them room to breathe. All right? Don't judge it based off of, like, Luffy walks on screen and says one word out of his mouth. It's like, that's not Luffy's voice. You know, like, I'm reminded of Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? So Mako, R.I.P., voiced Iroh, and he had an amazing Iroh voice, and he also voiced Aku in Samurai Jack. So Mako dies, and then you have Greg Baldwin that picks up Iroh for the remainder of that, and also Korra. He also picks up Aku in season 5 of Samurai Jack, right? Greg Baldwin. Greg Baldwin did a fantastic job, all right? Can you tell it's not Mako? Sure, you can, but it's so damn close. So I am personally, whenever somebody says that, like, oh, there's only one person in the entire world that has this voice that can voice this character, I honestly disagree with that. There's so many talented voice actors out there. There's so many people. Like, I'm a fan of Rick and Morty, and they had to replace Rick and Morty's voices. And for the first few episodes, it was like, okay, I could tell that's a different dude. But after a while, like halfway through the season, I think he hit his stride, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I can really not even tell the difference. Or I can tell the difference, but it's such a subtle difference, it doesn't even register. It's not that big of a deal, right? And by the end of the season, it was fine, right? Same thing with Greg Baldwin, right? So, yes, I can assure you that in the plethora of talented voice actors in the world, there is somebody else that can voice Luffy. There is somebody else that can voice Zoro. Not saying that they're going to get somebody to come out and voice Luffy, and Luffy's going to walk out and be like, hey there, Kobe, how you doing? My name's Monkey D. Luffy. I'm going to be king of the pirates. Let's go. You know, although, that would be funny. You know, Zoro has a very, like, hey, I'm Zoro. How you doing? Just like, yeah, we're not going to do that, right? But, like, it would be funny, you know, it would be funny, but no. Their voices are going to be fine no matter what, okay? I think they're going to do, if they are going to just bring in the old voice actors, then we have nothing to worry about. If they are going to cast a new voice cast, then they're going to do their due diligence with that. They're not just going to pick any random person that comes off the street and be like, all right, you're voicing Nami now, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, no. They're going to do their due diligence, and they're going to pick people, and I would just say, please, if this actually does happen, because I can even see it now, like, if it's announced that, like, a new voice cast for the Wit Studio anime, oh, so many people are going to be upset over that, and it's fair to be upset, it's fair to be worried about, like, I hope their voices are okay, but I think they'll be okay. I think we will be all right, okay? But anyway, that's the video today. Just wanted to go over some stuff with the new anime adaptation. I know some other YouTubers already did that pretty early on this week, but I finally got around to it. Thanks to everybody for watching. The One Piece review, I don't know. See, I'm recording it today, and it's like it usually is out Thursday was when I do it, but today it isn't out yet. So knowing my luck, as soon as I'm done with this video and when I'm editing this, it's going to be released. But that's just how it goes. It'll probably be up tomorrow, Friday, if not. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Teching and Vampire Barry signing out. You know what, Barry? We got to get you some bat wings. If you're going to be a vampire, if you're going to go along with this, we got to get you some cool bat wings. Where's the construction paper at?